Hi, I'm Chris Elsden. I'm a researcher in design informatics at the University of Edinburgh.
And my name is Jonathan Rankin, and I'm a designer working in design informatics at Edinburgh University. And I'm going to come in a bit later and talk to you about some of the design iterations of PizzaBlock.
We're presenting this work on behalf of our co-authors, Ian Sibbald, Alan Stevenson, John Vines and Chris Speed. The PizzaBlock project emerged from a partnership with Volunteer Scotland, who are the voice of the volunteer in Scotland. In this project, we wanted to explore the potential of distributed ledger technologies, or DLTs, to manage and prove identity in the voluntary sector. Identity is a complex topic, and DLTs are a complex technology. It's therefore really challenging to bring stakeholders and participants together to discuss and design these technologies. So we set out to develop PizzaBlock, a workshop and role-playing game, as an experience that could provide a platform for future participatory discussions about the implications of DLT systems in the volunteering sector and beyond. Our pictorial reports on an 18-month project where we adopted an iterative research through design approach. Over the course of 6 workshops, with over 100 participants, we iterated the gameplay and artifacts in PizzaBlock to do our best to accurately translate a complex network technology and create a platform and an experience for more participatory approaches to the design of DLTs. Here's now a short film we produced during one of our events to introduce the workshop and give you an idea of what actually happens when we play PizzaBlock. PizzaBlock is a game to try and get people a kind of hands-on understanding of what blockchain technologies and decentralization might look like. Currently, when it comes to identity, we tend to rely on centralized organizations to keep our data safe and to prove things about our identity that we might want to show other people. In the game, we start to play around with this and explore how we might start to manage our identity a bit more independently. In general, the workshop's about how do organisations and individuals manage and share data in different ways. And so think about what would it mean for volunteers to have perhaps more control of their identity, be able to prove things that they've done or taken part in more easily, and understand what implications that would have for the volunteer sector.
The game makes use of different physical materials to represent distributed ledger technology in analogue ways. So we use stickers to represent sharing a certificate. We use stamps to represent the public key that players might use. And we use pizza because it's a level playing field for volunteers where nobody's an expert but everyone loves it. During the game, participants play with the mission to improve Edinburgh's pizza scene. There are 3 roles in the game which each contribute to this mission. Social enterprises who have a number of tasks carried out by volunteers who are taught the skills they need by the pizza training centres. Volunteers can serve a range of different organisations, all with different values. Every time a volunteer learns a skill or completes a task, a number of different physical records are made that record these transactions. The first record is made on a public ledger, and it's anonymous, available for everyone in the game to see and reference. Organisations have a record of volunteers taking part in their specific activities. Volunteers have their own independent private ledger of all their activities. Uniquely numbered stickers and personal stamps allow players to reference and validate their own private ledger against the anonymous public ledger. In this way, using a combination of the public ledger and the private ledger, volunteers can independently prove that they have all the skills required to complete tasks in the game. The game progresses in 3 rounds as volunteers learn more skills and undertake more complicated tasks. In order to progress, players must spend some time in each round validating the information on the public ledger and ensuring claims about their identity can be trusted. Participants gain hands-on understanding of how distributed ledgers work, where different actors collaborate in a network but no single central organisation is in complete control.
And a lot of the things in the workshop we hope help people understand what a decentralised future might be like, different ways in which individuals and organisations might relate to each other in terms of their data. And actually lots of the physical artefacts help us abstract away from a specific technology or a specific infrastructure and ask questions about how do we prove things to each other, what do we care about knowing in a decentralised network.
This pictorial details the multiple design iterations of PizzaBlock, and I'm going to talk about one of them. The stickers are used in the game in order for volunteers to make records of when they have learnt a skill or completed a task. They also use these stickers to prove that they were part of these interactions. The stickers can be seen as data within the game, where no two interactions are the same. This means that there's a unique number which connects the stickers across the multiple records created during the game. The first iteration of the stickers had two different types: square ones, which volunteers used to fill out task sheets, and rectangular labels, which they used to make private records, whether that be the volunteer making a record or an organisation making a record. Each set of stickers has 3 unique pieces of information: the title of them, how hard it is to achieve, and the unique identification number. Now, in the first iteration of these stickers, there were over 13,500 of them in order to cover each skill and task used in the game. Due to both the complexity of the game and the sheer number of stickers involved, workshop facilitators handed them out in the first iteration of the game. Each time a transaction was completed, a set of rectangular stickers had to be paired with a set of square stickers and given to the participant. Even though there was 2 facilitators doing this, it was almost impossible to keep up with the gameplay and the number of transactions being created. The second iteration of the game removed the rectangular stickers. This came with 2 improvements. First, it was much easier to manufacture. There were half the number of stickers to create, and we no longer needed to pair them. This also meant that it was much easier for workshop facilitators to keep up with the number of transactions which were happening during the gameplay. They no longer needed to make these pairs of rectangular and square stickers. They just needed to hand out a sheet of square stickers to a participant. The final iteration of the stickers came with 2 improvements. The first was introducing these anonymous public ledger stickers, which allow volunteers to remain anonymous within the game, yet using that identification number prove that a transaction happened. The second improvement was there to help participants make fewer mistakes, and so we labelled the stickers with, for instance, private, to show a volunteer that that sticker was used in their private ledger, or organisation, to show that a sticker was used by the organisation to record that a transaction happened. These improvements to the stickers mean that by the end of the game, participants are able to make and record every single transaction without the help of the workshop facilitator. This is particularly important in a game like this because it highlights that there is a shared ownership in the system with no single participant taking control.
The aim of playing PizzaBlock is to educate, translate, and provide the basics for a more informed discussion about the potential applications of distributed ledger technology. Having a shared gameplay experience and being able to reference different artifacts and roles from the context of PizzaBlock really helps in trying to discuss and think through how this technology might apply in different contexts. As a pictorial, this project stands as a really rich exemplar for the design of physical and analogue versions of network technologies. In the paper, we point to a number of lessons learned. For example, by playing a specific role, participants could really ease their way in, understanding a complex network from a particular perspective in the game. The gameplay allows them to focus on simple actions and tasks, and over time, gain a much wider picture of transactions taking place across the network. Finally, we reflect in this pictorial on some broader important themes for discussion emerging from this research. For example, we note the challenges in designing user experiences that take account of both specific interactions and a broader networked infrastructure. In this way, as design researchers, we're always sort of stretched back and forth when we think about network technologies. We also reflect on how PizzaBlock really deconstructs transactions and exchanges of data. What this allows is for both the design team, stakeholders and participants to realise the complex computation that often takes place and that we often take for granted, and the extent of human labour involved in making data-driven systems actually work. Playing PizzaBlock is quite hard, and it really helps people to appreciate all of the moving parts and checks and balances that might be required when you're designing a system like this. We'd like to thank all the participants who have played PizzaBlock, our partners Volunteer Scotland, Erin at Beyond Mongolia for filming PizzaBlock, and finally our funders on the Oxchain project in the EPSRC. We hope this video has given you a taste of our work and invite you to learn more about PizzaBlock by reading our pictorial. Thanks very much.